Hi everyone, hello and welcome to today's Personal Power Wellness segment. I'm Jen from Personal Power Life Coaching, and it's wonderful to be with you here in this happy moment. So wherever you are, sending you lots of love and light and well-being, whatever's happening in your life, just take a moment to breathe and reconnect with this present moment. So as the description says, we are having our wellness segment and we are in the kitchen because I'm combining it with the juice of the day and with a message of positivity on happiness. So what do we have today in our juice? Well, for the juicy creation, I am including honeydew melon and some celery and a turnip. So this is the turnip, just the final wedge, and I want to include it today for sure. So I am very excited about that. And we are doing this with the intention of cultivating even more joy, even more well-being and happiness in my life and in our lives. Together we are better. So let me start, and one final thing I'll do is I'm going to I'm going to grab some ginger and let us put some of this nice music. Let me grab the ginger quickly, and it shall be so. So here we've got some ginger, fresh ginger root. I'm going to give it a quick swash. Whoopsie. And I also have some fresh mint, which I shall not include in this juice, but I went into our garden this morning to do some grounding, just walking barefoot outside, and picked some fresh mint for a smoothie later on. So we've got that prepared. We've got our ginger for the juice, and let's get started. I'm going to place this at a suitable angle to enable all of us to see what is happening there. And okie dokie, I will make this nice. I'm going to include, here we have our honeydew seeds. I'm going to start with those. And then going in with the celery. Okie dokie. And so the purpose of this is to generate some more inspiration for all of us, so that when you're doing your juicing or your health regime, whatever it is that is important to you, that you know that you're not the only one, okay? So we are including these nice, beautiful, natural ingredients. And let me start. Fantastic. So this has yielded approximately 2 glasses, so 16 ounces. Let's grab a great glass for this and continue with our wellness message of the day. Excellent. So here we are. Great. So let's have a look-see at what we've just created. So that is the honeydew turnip and celery juice. And my intention here was to include the celery first and foremost, and then to finally let whatever quantity of honeydew would remain so that it came out to 2 glasses. And that's what we've got. So let's tip it over. And when you're working with your juicer, there are different juicers. Some will be slower, some will be faster, and that will just determine the speed. Not all the machines are centrifugal, and that means that some of them are churning, some of them masticate the juice, the fruits or the veggies, which is supposed to be a slower process, but you also get more of the vitamins and nutrients and the live enzymes because of the lower speed. So the lower speed means that there is less heat being generated by the machine in the rotation process or the juicing process. So here we are. So what I'm doing now is simply going to weigh that out. Wow, that's beautiful. So that is 16.7 ounces. We've got a little left over. So that is marvelous. And now we have the opportunity to enjoy our juice together, so that perhaps this can be an inspiration for you to have exciting recipes in whatever you are bringing as wellness into your life. And let's experience it. That's lovely. A little celery leaf came through, and you really get the celery, which is the most important aspect, I feel. So very nice. So let's put all of that aside, and now I want to talk about the topic that I put in the description, which is happiness. And happiness is a subject that is perhaps something that is elusive to some. It could be perceived as a difficult task to, or something difficult to attain, because so many things happen in life that can keep us frustrated or can keep us feeling low. Maybe the person that we love isn't responding to us and thus we feel unhappy. Or maybe you just wake up in a bad mood and then that just generates an experience of continued unhappiness. Whatever it is, we all have our moments, we all have our lows. So what I'd like to open, and the question is happiness a choice? Is happiness a choice? And can you really choose to be happy? Can you really choose your happiness? And how does that make you feel? And then, do you decide how happy or good you want to be or live? So is happiness a choice? Is it a decision that we get to make? And I didn't always think it was. I didn't understand that it could be. I didn't see it that way. However, the more life experience I get, and the happier I start to feel in my daily life, I realize that there are different approaches to how we can lead a happier life. And maybe happy isn't the word that you would take into your vocabulary that resonates with you, but it could be joy or well-being or peace. Any of these actually could be a choice that we make. And how is this so? Well, if you're willing to step into a position of greater power and empowerment in your life, and you will do this, or you will want to do this, because you no longer want to be subject or a victim of the external conditions, because one day it could be up, one day it could be down. However, what if you step forward and just decide, I acknowledge it's a possibility. Maybe this is the case. Maybe it's true that happiness is a choice. I get to choose how good I feel. I don't have to stay negative. I don't have to be unhappy. I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to. It's not a death sentence. I can choose to be happy. And it just starts by being aware of that notion, that concept. Just saying it. I get to choose how happy I feel. And sitting with it, and notice if there's any resistance. Now for me, what came up originally was fear and this feeling that I now have the responsibility of making myself happy. And that bothered me, because then I couldn't blame anyone. I couldn't just put, I couldn't assign the responsibility to other people or other things and complain. Because it's easier to complain and to be negative sometimes. For some reason, it just has this sort of self-indulging quality to it that sort of is a pity combined with some self-pity, and it just makes you like, woe is me sort of mind frame. But that's not the true you. That's not the real me. I'm not a victim, right? And that's another choice. You decide I am not a victim, and you decide I choose to step into my power. And maybe that sounds foreign and just outlandish to you if you haven't been in that mindset, but you can embrace it more just by acknowledging first that I'm aware that it's a choice. It's possible. And maybe it's not as scary as we think. Or maybe it's just a process that we can take day by day, moment by moment. And it doesn't have to mean anything more than taking a simple step of saying thank you every day for everything we have. So that's okay. So first of all, it's the awareness that maybe my happiness is in my hands. It's my responsibility and it's my choice. So I choose to be happy. Just stating that I choose to be happy. I choose to feel good now. Feeling good is my choice. It's my dominant intent. This is what I want for myself. I want to be happy every day. I choose it and I allow it. Because what if feeling good was your default? What if that's just naturally how you can easily feel when we don't have the same thoughts that have led to that negative downward spiral? So the first thing is that awareness and that acknowledgement that it can be your choice. It's a possibility. The second thing is, so it's just that awareness and stating it for yourself. Okay, and if you can write it down for yourself to acknowledge that this could be so. Just being open to it, right? An open mind means an open life of possibilities in a really wonderful direction. So being aware, and then knowing that it can be as simple as being grateful, expressing gratitude. If my happiness is my choice, then I can choose that by my words that I'm using, by my focus, and knowing that how we feel is actually coming from a thought or a thought pattern, or the ways that we think on a continuous basis. So you start with awareness and an acceptance that it's possible, accepting the possibility, and that it's not as scary as you might think to say that I am responsible for my happiness and I can choose to make myself happy no matter what's happening, even in the most difficult of conditions. And now again, it all depends as well on what is appropriate, okay? Because for instance, if someone has passed away, you may not necessarily naturally feel that happiness is the appropriate emotion or state. It could be, depending on the conditions, the circumstances for that case. However, we're talking about a general state of well-being that we could classify as feeling happy. And then noticing the thoughts that you are thinking. Okay? What are your thoughts? What are your habitual thoughts? Because maybe, unbeknownst to you, unaware, you could be thinking negative thoughts that just slip in, that have just been there for years, and they're just there. And as you evolve, they may still be there because they've been sort of like seeds planted that they go away sometimes because they hush, but then they come back up. And it could be the voice of self-doubt or criticism or complaint or thinking that it won't work out. Whatever it is, there are helpful thoughts, and then there are unresourceful thoughts. Okay? So when you think something, ask yourself, what is this thought and how is it making me feel? Is it true? And then you have to stop there, put your foot down, and you just say, okay, I can stop there. What if... Okay, and then you think something different. So, I mean, that would be a whole other video in terms of how you could turn those thoughts around. But you can do that anytime. It's not rocket science. You can just turn a negative thought and just soften it. Soften it by saying, well, maybe it's not as bad as I think. This too shall pass. Just wait and see what happens. I'm not going to jump to conclusions. You know, oh, look at me, look at that. You know, laugh at yourself and be gentle and just kind of be compassionate. That, oh, you know, there's that voice again. I don't need to judge it. But you can just accept that, oh, I'm noticing that thought. And I'm going to just notice and let it go. Don't have to dwell on it. But this is where your awareness comes into place. So that's another tip. So noticing your thoughts, working with your thoughts, and then cultivating more positive thoughts by listening to affirmations that are more uplifting and empowering on a frequent basis. And the more difficult your life situation, the more difficult things seem to be, that's when you most need to harness the power of affirmations that are available on YouTube, online. You can print them out, you can read them, you can get books that are really positive and uplifting, so you saturate yourself with more well-being than negativity, okay? So that there's more of that flow. And then we want to... After we do that, it really extremely important, the antidote to unhappiness is quite possibly gratitude. Gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, as Zig Ziglar said. I would say that's my final concrete tip that is definitely proven to work. Let me just have a sip. Gratitude, giving thanks for what you have, being appreciative of what is going well in your life, the blessings that you do have. This is why the book The Secret was so wildly successful worldwide. selling millions of copies and helping people around the universe transform and improve their lives is because it harnessed the power of gratitude. That's really what the book is all about. Giving thanks, focusing on the things that are working, focusing on the benefits, no matter what is happening, seeing the positive things in the situation, in yourself, in your body, in your partner, at your work, wherever you live, in the weather. There's always something to appreciate that can be appreciated. And thus, this is why gratitude works. And if you are really experiencing negative things in your life or difficult circumstances and maybe even depression, in addition to whatever you're already doing with a doctor, if you're taking medication, that is that. And then you also have your self-inner work, which you can do by making your list of 10 things that you appreciate every day. And hey, I would say that if it's the same things every day, then go for it. I mean, it doesn't have to be different, but you can generate new things that you appreciate because every day is not exactly the same. For instance, it could be as easy as you wore different underwear today. And hey, at least you have a different pair of undies that you can use, and that's something to give thanks for. Maybe you woke up and you were wearing a different pajama, and that's nice as well because you don't have to wear the same pajama every day. You have some flexibility. You can wash it one day and leave it the next. So that's an example. If you have soap, you can wash your hands and have clean hands, which is really important to prevent infection on your food and eating with dirty hands, which is like, you know, hygiene is one of the things that impoverished nations have to struggle with and educate their citizens about. So maybe that's an automatic for you. Maybe you have health insurance. And even if you're paying for a premium, well, some people don't have any insurance at all, and they can't even consider going to a physician in case of emergencies. So there are multiple things to be grateful for, and this is why gratitude is really fundamental to cultivating the energy and the mindset and the consciousness of being happy. And this is how you can be even happier, or being more joyful, or feeling more peace, is knowing that you are blessed and there are many things to be grateful for. And yeah, that pretty much helps, I feel, is like awareness and taking that responsibility. But you know, responsibility is such a big word, and even for me, it comes as a sort of, you know, maybe it's like, oh my God, it's kind of intimidating or overwhelming. But how about if it's not a responsibility, but it's just a choice? As simple as saying it verbally, like, it's my choice. I choose to be happy. And that's it. And you don't have to make it anything bigger than that. Just play around with that idea. And if there's like any intense resistance or difficulty with accepting that, then potentially you could just take that on for today. This is enough. You know, I choose to be happy. Happiness is my choice. Just dwelling in that. The degree of happiness I feel in my relationship just depends on me. Why not? Maybe it's true. Maybe it's possible. Being happy could be easy, or it could be fun. It could be an easy choice. Maybe it's easier than I think. You know, so it's all about how you massage your thoughts and your thinking and your approach, and knowing that maybe if it's your decision, then you don't have to rely on how other people are feeling or how they treat you, because you don't know how they're going to feel, and that's unstable. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just know, well, hey, if I can just be there for myself for the rest of my life, then I'm free. You're free. You are free to be where you want to be with whom you ever want to be, and just stay where you are and not need to feel like you're desperate for jumping ship. Or that's just an example. So some situations will definitely be more difficult than others. So you just do what you can and you do the best, and then you just apply that awareness to it and go with your flow. And finally, I would just like to add that feeling and cultivating this mindset of happiness and well-being, it comes as well with a lifestyle. So the people that you surround yourself with, your environment, maybe take a look at your environment. If you've been feeling like it's a struggle to feel good on a regular basis, then consider the people that you live with or the environment you're surrounded by, because you may need to adjust yourself accordingly. If you can't escape the people that you're around, then you can do more of that inner work even more intensely, more lovingly for yourself. And if you can change your circle of friends because you realize, hey, this is toxic and it's not very beneficial or empowering, then you can do that too. And by nature of the way that you are focusing, you will naturally now gravitate to people who are more aligned with your new thought train. And those other thoughts, those other energy vibrations will begin to dissipate and fade. So that's another aspect. And in terms of lifestyle, just make sure as well that you are getting proper sleep, because not sleeping well can also imbalance our mood, and you have to struggle even more to make yourself feel good. So getting enough sleep, eating a proper, nutritious, nourishing, whole foods diet. And I say diet not in terms of weight loss, but just diet as in what a person will eat on a daily basis. So having fruits and vegetables in proper quantities, whatever that is, that's a whole other video, but including those fibers, healthy fibers, reducing processed foods, taking time to relax your mind and your body through prayer or meditation, or just going for a walk outdoors to breathe in the fresh air. And those are things that will also enhance your levels of well-being. So that's it for today. So we stated that happiness can be a choice, and it starts with your awareness and acceptance of the potential for that. And then the thoughts that you're thinking, notice your thoughts and turn the negative ones around, or just say, okay, I noticed that. I'll let that go. Don't have to stay there. And then maybe it's not as bad. Maybe the situation will work out. So you can think the opposite of it. So just work with your thoughts and create more helpful, resourceful thoughts. And then gratitude, having a gratitude practice, focusing always. As soon as you catch yourself complaining, just flip it around and say thank you. Even if you don't have something to focus that on, just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And just by saying that, you're crowding out the negative thoughts. And again, and ultimately, noticing your lifestyle, balance your lifestyle to include some of those things that I highlighted: proper sleep, proper nutrition, nourishing foods, a healthy circle and environment around you, and taking time to either meditate or pray on a daily basis consistently, and to take a walk outdoors at least, having some way to move your body in a satisfying and healthful way. So thank you for joining me today. I trust this message will help whomever listens to it, and we can all cultivate even greater levels of joy, well-being, satisfaction, and your general awesomeness, so that you can thrive to your fullest, and then just letting amazing things unfold for you in every single day. So thanks for joining me. I'm Jen from Personal Power Life Coaching. So enjoy your health. I'll finish my juice, and I will talk to you very soon. Thanks for joining. Namaste.